Chelsea's tactics will see a huge change under Liam Rosenior, the new gaffer. I'm going to be explaining how he'll completely change Chelsea's build-up, why his aggressive pressing system leads to goals, and the midfielder that could transform in his setup. So first of all, what exactly are Rosenior's tactics, and who will he leave out of the current first 11? There will be casualties. To know how Chelsea could set up, we firstly need to understand Rosenior's principles. Because at Strasbourg, Rosenior has often lined up in a 3-4-2-1 on paper, but out of possession, this shape morphs into a 4-3-3. Rosenior demands his team to be very aggressive off the ball. The striker is dealt the task of triggering that press, and the midfielders go man for man in the centre of the pitch. And what that does is it forces opponents to play wide where they can double or triple up on them. And these tactics lead to frequent turnovers of possession out wide or centrally due to their marking. And he's made sure Strasbourg are ruthless when they win the ball as well. They've scored the second most goals from high turnovers in Ligue 1 this season. A really crucial stat when you're trying to get an understanding of Rosenior. Another key principle of Rosenior up to this point is to play minimal touch football, often resulting in the attacking players being quite close together in attack. And perhaps his biggest focus at Strasbourg has been his use of young players. The Strasbourg team that beat Crystal Palace recently had an average age of 21.1. with the captain aged just 22. And so the implementation of youth is something that we have to factor in his setup at Chelsea. He's not going to be afraid of it, and Chelsea quite like it, don't they? But before that, crucially, let's break down Rosenior's defensive tactics, because it's not common for the Strasbourg goalkeeper to pop up in these positions, essentially joining the defensive line in possession. From there, Penders goes long, with runners threatening the space in behind. At other times, the goalkeeper will delay a pass as long as possible before playing short. And with Rosenior being clear in instructing his team to draw in the opponent's press during the initial build-up. Some might say that's risky, problematic for Chelsea, which we'll come to during their setup. But in build-up, this is a common shape for Rosenior's teams. You've got the central centre-back and the left centre-back coming short as options for the goalkeeper. The right centre-back has peeled into a position similar to that of a natural right-back, and that provides an out ball wide when central passes aren't an option. And when this pattern of play occurs, they often overload the side where the ball is, and these quick interchanges then suck in opponents and exploit spaces created by those rotations. Now that left centre-back, when it comes to the left centre-back, the role is slightly different. Often staying central, the left centre-back has two clear instructions. Now, one of them is looking to play those short vertical passes into midfield. The alternative instruction is the polar opposite. It's to be more direct, playing long vertical passes like this one into the final third to the left wing back, who we need to talk about. So how's that going to look for Chelsea? Well, without any other clear option, it's likely that Sanchez will be the goalkeeper. And overall, he's had a good season, hasn't he? Then, as the right-sided centre-back, you've got Reece James as an option, although he's been brilliant in midfield, and Trevor Chalobah as the two options. Let's talk Chalobah, because Chalobah has shown that he is competent as a ball progressor from centre-back, but for this right centre-back, right-back hybrid role, it is hard to look past someone like Reece James. Under Maresca, the central centre-back was the most important player in possession, typically dictating play during build-up. Under Rosenior, that's going to be different, because the main task will be to defend and let the two wide centre-backs progress the ball, which means it could equally be Fofana or Chalobah fulfilling that role. Now, the left centre-back is crucial during build-up, utterly crucial, and they need a great passing range. It's required to progress the ball for them. So Levi Colwill is perfect for this role, but of course his long-term injury keeps him out of the team for now. So suddenly, the options become quite limited on that left-hand side. They really are hurting not having him at the moment. But due to the need for technical ability in this position, Mark Goldbridge could be the right choice. And yeah, you can see it in front of your eyes. Only having one true centre-back is not ideal. But without Colwill, Chelsea don't have the right profile, or the left profile, as it were. Hato may be an option, but that kind of remains to be seen. Nice little cameo against Man City, but it's still early days, so maybe he'll get some more minutes. Plus, there are other factors at play here, because Cucurella might not be the best fit at left wing-back. Now, before that, let's look at the double pivot in midfield. With Strasbourg frequently looking to play through wider channels in build-up, it often means that their own midfield gets bypassed. Like, I mean it, leading to them not actually completing that many passes compared to the centre-backs. However, where they thrive is in the opponent's half, being key drivers in final third entries. And the crucial aspect of this is that they're mobile and aggressive. Murabe and Barco are both stationed extremely high here, aiding the press as Strasbourg look to turn over the PSG possession, resulting in Barco picking up the ball in this position before playing a little cheeky scoop through ball in behind, resulting in a goal. It's not common though for one of them to drop slightly deeper, but when they do, they take a maximum of 3 touches and almost rush the ball out of their feet like Murabe does here. Rosenior doesn't ask his midfielders to slow the tempo and dictate play, he asks them to play it forward, simply as quickly as possible. We also know that one player that he loved in this role was Andre Santos, who is, of course, at Chelsea. But one player who suits this system down to a T is Moise Caicedo. Now, we've done a whole video on how complete he is. Go check that out when you get a chance. But his mobility and aggression are key aspects of his game. And for this role, they're key as well. And he would be allowed to be able to press on the front foot. So he would be fantastic. Now, for the second midfielder, there's a debate to be had because you've got Enzo Fernandez, of course, and he was trusted by Maresca frequently, maybe a little too much at times. Maybe there weren't the other options. But does he truly suit a role in which he won't get as many touches and is asked to be aggressive out of possession? I'm not sure. Andre Santos arguably suits this role perfectly and has proven it under Rosenior in the past. Of course, it's not the Premier League, but he has played in the Premier League and looks capable to me. Now let's take a look at what Rosenior demands from his fullbacks. Now on the left, Diego Moreira's attacking output has been utterly key for Rosenior. His impressive number of take-ons, progressive carries, and shot-creating actions have made him crucial to the system. So from Moreira's heat map this season, you can see that he frequently touches the ball in advanced areas. Moreira is the furthest player forward here, and his deep running allows for multiple threats when going direct, and he's consistently been influential in attack, and that's why an attacking minded player at left wing back feels like it's pretty crucial for Rosenior at Chelsea, which is interesting when we think about Maresca and his love for those wingers. Now there's one player who could be perfectly suited to this role and change what's written on a piece of paper. Get away from the fact that he's been known for being a winger. Football is changing. It is different. It's about fitting the profile. And I think Pedro Neto could be the perfect fit. At right wing back, this is where you see some tactical complexities from Rosenior come to the fore. Because at this stage in build-up, the defence resembles a back four. And when Ouattara, the right wing back, gets the ball, it still resembles a similar shape. But there's tomfoolery at foot. Because after passing the ball back to the goalkeeper, he vacates this spot, and now the back four resembles a back three. Ouattara then ends up in an inverted role, and when the ball is further up the pitch, Ouattara is asked to pick up these positions in the half spaces, with Strasbourg trying to create these triangles in the build-up. And the reason for this is this. It's so that the right-sided attacking midfielder and the right wing-back can play these quick exchanges, and with both players moving in opposite directions, these counter-movements drag opponents away and then create lovely pockets of space. So the right wing-back isn't as offensive as that on the left. So the role demands this. Someone who is comfortable as a natural right-back, but also comfortable at inverting and comfortable attacking wide areas in the final third. So there is a case for Reece James. And look, there is a case for Reece James in midfield as well. But it could take a toll on his body, the right-back position in particular. So it might be a gamble. With that in mind, it feels like Gusto will be the right wing-back in this system. We've done defence, we've done midfield. That brings us to Rosenior's attack. Sebastian Nanasi usually starts as the left 10 for Strasbourg and is a player mainly known for his creativity within the side. So Nanasi will also drop deeper at times in order to help that build up or to add a body into the midfield when needed. And when attacking, he's mainly positioned in these areas, helping to form triangles high up the pitch on that left-hand side, which obviously allows for overloads to take place and allowing Nanasi to receive the ball in these areas and take a shot. To create, in fact, because he's a creative player. So during build-up, he sometimes drops into these pockets, allowing the left wing-back to stay higher, which is what you want to do because you've got a more attacking-minded player. So for this role, you need a bit of both here. So to help him build up and to have box crashing ability. So with that skill set in mind, it does feel like Enzo Fernandez is suited to that hybrid role. On the other side, Strasbourg have been using Julio Enciso, and he's played as a right-sided 10. He frequently gets on the ball in these spaces, with the width being covered by the right wing-back, whilst also being supported by runners to his left. And what that does is it allows him to utilise his vision, creativity when playing the ball forward, because he's got those options. But it also gives him the freedom to move into more central zones where he can affect the play. So he's perfect for Enciso. Two things are geared around this role: freedom and trust. Trust that is afforded to him by his creative ability and that special awareness that he has. He's one of those kind of players. So with the types of zones that Rosenior is asking his right 10 to pick up, one player is essentially a nailed-on shout for this spot. You already knew who I was about to say. That's right, Cole Palmer. But when it comes to the striker spot, in this team, there is a very interesting debate. Because on one hand, you have João Pedro, who has been the preferred option so far this season. And then you've got the aggravator-in-chief, one of the best aggravators in the game, in my opinion, Liam Delap, who's featured fewer times. But regardless of the stats, this debate is tougher than you think. And to understand this, we need to look at Rosenior's use of strikers at Strasbourg. Because he's used two strikers this season himself. One who is more of a poacher in Panicelli, and then another with a more diverse skill set on and off the ball in Omega. So Panicelli often links the play before moving into a goal-scoring position. Nice and simple. Whilst Omega prefers to target space in behind. And from that, finding space in transition to score. Omega's work off the ball is what may give us a clue as to who Rosenior may favour initially. Because his ability to be the first line of the press and orchestrate the press is something that holds pertinence when it comes to Rosenior's principles. The ability to use him to target space in behind, but also to trigger the press is super important to Rosenior's tactical plan. So that does lean me towards the side of Delap, who can be used as a bit of a battering ram when you need him to be that, but can also latch onto balls in behind. Exactly what we saw in that game against Man City. And when Chelsea face teams who operate in a low block, João Pedro could be the player that Rosenior then goes for due to his ability to operate in those tight spaces. But what about the casualties, Jim? You mentioned casualties. I'm going to talk about that now because we're there. Not everyone's going to fit into this first 11. So one player who I do have reservations about in terms of where he fits in is Jamie Gittins. The defensive duties of being a left wing back, I'm not sure they suit him. I haven't seen that yet. He hasn't been able to showcase it either, let's be honest. But his best work comes out wide, meaning he may not be suited then to a left 10 spot either. Another player, somewhat similar to Gittins, who may struggle initially, Garnacho. He may feature as the left wing back hybrid, but if that was a viable option, we may have seen that at least tested at Man United under Amorim. Lastly, a player who I think may be found out a bit is Robert Sanchez. Rosenior will heavily depend on the goalkeeper during build-up. Sanchez's weak point is his ability on the ball. Whilst he's been good this season, he may be exposed in this role, and so they might want to change that up a little bit. They've never been afraid to buy a goalkeeper, have they? So, this is what Rosenior's Chelsea could look like this season, and I'm sure he's going to want some new signings for this system. Well, I use data to find every Premier League club's perfect signing. If you want to find out who they are, click here.